From massive ancient tombs to unbelievable coin discoveries, here are the most amazing discoveries with a metal detector.
Hey guys, this is your host, American Eye. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy that video.
Number 14. The first discoveries. In order to give you a little bit of nifty history on the metal detector, it was first created by the French inventor Gustave Trouve in 1874. It wasn't until 1881 when it would be put to its first big test. Assembled during an emergency situation, Alexander Graham Bell tried to recover a missing bullet that was lodged inside our former president, James A. Garfield. Unfortunately, Alexander was unable to find it, but that was mainly because Mr. Garfield's bed contained metal inside. The springs in the bed were throwing off the contraption. It was only a few decades later where metal detectors would become extremely useful tools for detecting landmines and unexploded weapons. Minefields were dangerously swept by people with these useful tools, and maybe it helped make America a free country. Number 13. The Mojave Nugget. The largest known golden nugget ever found in California is known as the Mojave Nugget, and it was found in 1977 by prospector Ty Paulson. Weighing in at 4.9 kilograms, it's worth roughly $205,000. That's with today's current price of gold. Who knew a hobby could result in such a life-changing discovery? The massive chunk of gold ore was found near Randsburg, California, which has had a history of gold mining since 1895 when gold was first discovered here. Ty Paulson is certainly happy no other pioneer was able to find this big chunk of metal. Number 12. The 12-pound golden nugget. You might see those people with the little metal detectors on the beach wearing those sandals with socks and think they're complete losers. But who's laughing when they bust out a 12-pound golden nugget? Sounds like every treasure hunter's dream. But this kind of stuff can happen occasionally. A prospector in Australia found a 12-pound golden nugget all clumped together that must have been missed by hundreds of people before him. This nugget we see in the photo is 9 inches long and was only under about 2 feet of dirt. 12 pounds of gold is currently worth $228,937. It's believed that this one, however, sold for $350,000 at a private auction to a private buyer who probably wants to remain private. Geologists were interested in its unique shape, which helped add to its value. Number 11. The Staffordshire Hoard. This massive load of treasure was found in 2009 when a farmer in central England lost a tool in his field and called a friend with a metal detector to scan for it. In search of a farm tool, Terry Herbert accidentally uncovered the largest single hoard of Anglo-Saxon gold ever found. As excavators dug up the field, they found a total of 3,500 pieces of gold, silver, and garnet that would be worth a total of 3.2 million British pounds, or about 4.7 million US dollars. This also included the Sutton Hoo helmet, which is currently being held at the British Museum in London. It's a rather remarkable discovery, showing superb Viking metal craftsmanship. Number 10. The Grooville Hoard. A great deal of coins were found on the island of Jersey in 2012, and it may shock you. This island in the English Channel contains a great deal of French and English culture, but it also contained a lot of treasure. After searching for this treasure for 30 years, 2 amateur treasure hunters found these coins that date back to the Iron Age. But no, these were not made out of iron, but silver. This was also the largest haul of Celtic coins that have ever been found. Each coin you see in this person's hand was found on the island of Jersey and is worth at least 200 pounds each. And you can tell the coins are in still great condition. This makes the total discovery worth 10 million pounds, or about 12 million US dollars. They were found under 3 feet of soil underneath a hedge in someone's farm. The coins were packed in a clay chest and literally weighed a ton. It's believed that it was stashed here to keep the Romans from plundering it during their conquest of the British Isles. Number 9. Cannonball. You've seen on this channel how people can make remarkable discoveries that can make them rich, or items that were long lost at the bottom of the sea. But not all those discoveries are able to make it back onto the flight with people who made the discoveries. A cannonball was also discovered in someone's suitcase from Kentucky that was believed to have been discovered from some kind of shipwreck. It's rather easy for a metal detector to pick up this giant chunk of metal. TSA claimed that the cannonball could have retained its explosiveness after centuries have gone by. You better believe they didn't want to take any chances at all. Imagine this wouldn't be worth the price of the cannonball and the luggage fee anyways. Number 8. Cross of St. John. A man in St. Augustine, Florida found this cross of St. John that was near a known spot where a Spanish Armada shipwreck crashed during a storm. This artifact survived and is now once again seeing the day of light. It finally washed ashore a few hundred years later and was discovered. He planned on making this into a necklace and won't mind having $35,000 hanging from his neck. Number 7. The Cruise-Off Islands Discoveries. Alaska is certainly home to some brutal winters, and it almost seems like the last place you want to be stranded unless you're an experienced survivor. A sailing ship known as the Neva was famous for completing Russia's first circumnavigation of the world between 1803 and 1807. 4 years later, when the ship was out at sea again, a fierce storm struck off the coast of Alaska, causing the ship to sink. Only 28 out of the 47 crew members were able to make it to land, but they would have to survive on a remote Alaskan island. Artifacts from the survivors show that they managed to craft tools from things such as nails in order to make fishing hooks. Other things that were found here include musket balls, sheet copper, axe heads, and spikes, which lead archaeologists into much insight. No skeletons were found, suggesting that they survived long enough to make it off the island. Number 6. Hammer of Thor. Before Christianity spread amongst the Vikings, they certainly had their own set of beliefs. Gods like Thor and Odin were the lead gods of Viking folklore. It's told that Thor, the god that held the hammer, was responsible for lightning, storms, thunder, and the protection of mankind. Until Vikings were officially Christianized in the 12th century, people would accept him into their lives and wore these amulets, symbolizing his presence. Thousands of these amulets have been discovered, but no one really understood what they meant. Researchers eventually found this amulet in Denmark with a metal detector and realized that Thor's legends heavily influenced people's jewelry. Number 5. Tomb of Liu Wu. An ancient Chinese mausoleum was discovered in 2014, and what it contained inside was simply breathtaking. It's believed that this tomb belonged to King Louis Fei, who ruled the kingdom of Xiandu until he died in the year 128 BC. Although grave robbers plundered some of the treasures left here, the collection was simply too vast to take all of it. The tomb contained rare coins, chariots, and even a jade coffin, as you can tell in this photo. Needless to say, this king lived a lavish lifestyle. As a part of a burial ritual, the kings were often left with large amounts of coins. No wonder grave robbers were coming here. Number 4. Ruby Ring. Another treasure hunter, this time in Australia, came across a beautiful gold ring with an extremely valuable red ruby inside. This one here was buried under 2 feet of sand and is an incredible find for those who came across it. If you're hoping to make a strange beach discovery, experts say it's best to try your luck after a large storm hits the beach. People might have left in a hurry, boats might have tipped over, and things in the area tend to drift. Number 3. Anglo-Saxon Coin Discovery. What would you do if you came across some ancient coins that made you a millionaire in the process? That might make you reconsider the next time you think about making fun of those guys at the beach with those metal detectors. A man named Paul Coleman, an amateur treasure hunter, stumbled upon a remarkable discovery in the town of Buckinghamshire in 2015. He collected an unbelievable 5,000 silver coins that were made sometime between 978 AD to 1035 AD and during the rule of King Canute. These were found about 2 feet under soil and were in pristine condition. This is one of the largest Anglo-Saxon coin discoveries in history, and he just filled up bags full of these things. This brought him a serious payday of £1 million or $1.2 million. If an unemployed British man can do it, so can you. Number 2. Galloway Hoard. The coast of Scotland got its fair dosage of Viking raids in the Middle Ages. Many of these Vikings settled the land, and modern-day Scottish people could have a little bit of Viking ancestry in them. It was a fairly easy target for Vikings to plunder, geographically speaking, and some of the Scottish Isles are less than 200 miles away. Vikings often targeted Christian monasteries since they weren't often well armed, and they also had a large amount of gold sculptures. One of the largest Viking discoveries in the UK was made in Galloway, Scotland in 2014. This included silk from Istanbul and a silver brooch that came from Ireland. Much of this was likely loot that they had stashed or traded about 1,000 years ago. Items like this silver cross are quite rare and engraved with decorations on each side. Many treasures were found just by simply searching the area that they believed a Scottish church once stood in the Middle Ages. At number 1, 30-ton piece of meteorite. Pieces of an enormous meteorite, also known as El Chaco, was discovered in Argentina in the city of Gancedo that fell from the sky about 4,000 years ago during a meteorite shower. Locals in this small town were shocked when they saw this massive hunk of metal being lifted from the ground. And it's the second largest meteorite ever discovered, only second to the one found in Namibia, which weighs 66 tons. It's believed that it originally weighed 800 tons, but much of its mass was lost while traveling through Earth's atmosphere and from other factors. Other pieces of the meteorite have been discovered, which would make scientists believe that at one point, this thing was massive. It's most likely that this thing came from the asteroid belt found between Mars and Jupiter. Meteorites commonly strike Earth's surface, but normally end up as dust by the time they reach Earth's surface. The last impact of this magnitude, scientists believe, happened around 55,000 years ago.